I literally started the live stream yesterday, and I was chatting for like a good 30 minutes, and then I look over and I said it was like go live, and I was kind
Oh,
of tight, bro.
you had
Cause
to
look,
start.
just now, right now, I pressed start streaming in OBS, and I'm live. We're live. I didn't have to worry about it. But
Yeah,
yesterday, when I pressed start streaming OBS, it was like you have to press the go live button on YouTube. I was like, yo, bro, why? Why did I have
yeah. I
to
don't know
do that?
why. It's whenever I try doing it by myself or doing it with just me and Eric, anything that's more impromptu, that's when these weird problems and scenarios just start popping out of the woodwork. But anyways,
So we are live. We can
welcome
get it going.
to the
Yo, crack
greatest
a lad.
Colloquium Captus in existence. You're here with the boys. There's no triumvirate of terror today. Now it's just a dynamic duo. You got the human calculator with the numerical nomenclature, Raytron Uno Dos Tres. And underneath him, you have the
Nah,
strongest
you're
man
next
in
to me,
the
bro. There's only two of us.
sure,
We're side by
sorry.
side.
My orientation
Also,
has
don't
you.
ever say underneath him. Pause, nigga.
Come on, man. It's about to be 2023. You can't let that
Oh,
home.
pause, bro. Pause.
It's new times, man. It's new times. We got, it's play now. You got to play everything. We're allowed to do these things now, right? It's masculine, that kind of stuff.
It's not
Apparently,
masculine to be under nobody.
apparently it is. True,
Nah,
true.
remember that one guy was having a conversation? He was talking about how it wasn't masculine.
Here's your point. And you have
Oh,
the
I hope he
strongest
never
man
sees
in the
this.
universe. He who guards the guardians. You can't. It's flexing underneath the shirt. You kind of see it. The Vanguard. So what you been up to, Chief?
I'm currently building this doomsday device. It's in the shape of a motorcycle.
Yeah,
It's actually massive.
yeah.
This is taking me days, bro. Like I
That's
literally
good.
sat here and I was like, let me just like I literally had like a show playing in the background, Yu Yu Hakusho. You know, since I already seen it, I was just playing in the background. I'd get through like because like they're in sections. There's like 5 bags. I get through section 1 or 2, and it's been like 8 episodes. I'm like, oh my god. Let
I
me,
mean, Yu Yu Hakusho is what, like 22 minutes.
yeah,
So yeah, you were building it for about an hour then. When you said 8 episodes,
eight
well, you were building
episodes.
for 2 hours,
I was building that shit for a
like
minute,
2 hours
bro.
or so. Yeah.
And
Isn't that cool? How like when you get into that flow state and time just starts passing and you don't even notice.
bro, I literally like looked at my phone. I was like, I gotta go to bed. I
Yeah,
was like, I
that
gotta go to
flow state
sleep.
is beautiful. I was just talking to someone at work about that, where I was talking about how one of the greatest feelings I ever had in my life while drawing. It was like I was like there was a time I was drawing something and I entered like into the flow state or some shit, and everything was just coming to me and everything just felt natural. And it was like the thing I was thinking in my head was coming to fruition exactly as I was thinking it. And I was like, it was the most beautiful feeling I ever had in my life. Like I haven't gotten as close to that. Like I've gotten sort of close, like different times when I played classical music and I was doing like an assignment and it was like I entered a flow state and just started moving mad fast like that. Um, there was another time that happened to me where I was doing it with like I was playing a podcast and it was a podcast I didn't really have to listen to. It was just like them like cracking jokes and laughing with each other.
Yeah,
And I entered flow state and I was doing my work because like they would say something funny and it was keeping me excited and focused on the thing I was doing, even
I
though
feel you. Me and the boy Husto, we were listening to the shit. I don't remember his name. We was watching one of the guys. He was doing like an anime drinking game, and we were just sitting there. It felt like we were just chatting with the homie.
yeah,
Like obviously he's not talking to us, right?
yeah,
But it just felt right. Is the
yeah.
only word I can say. It felt right.
Those are the best kind of like shows on YouTube where it feels like the person is just chilling with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, flow state is something that when you taste it, you keep trying to get it again and again and again, and it's hard to recreate that first time you ever experience it. It's never the same.
There was an anime about that. Like it's not exactly about that, right? But they do mention that. And like the main character, he enters that state and he's like, "Wow, this is amazing." But ultimately, he was like, "Nah, it's not worth it for everything I have to
Yeah,
give up to like keep chasing it." He's like, "Nah, not
yeah,
worth."
yeah. Yeah, it's literally if you like like fucking that fucking samurai. What's his name? Miyamashi. Is it Miyamashi? Basically, he's like, let me see. He's like the famous samurai who was kicking everybody's asses.
Yeah, like
Cause
that name just doesn't sound right.
let me see. Damn, not it's not. What's that fucking samurai's name? Or just see. Give me a second. Path.
I'm giving you one. See, it took too long,
I'll
bro. Took too long.
be able to find him. Oh, Dokido. Yeah, I should. Yeah, Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi. So he talks a lot about like basically to become the greatest at something. Like you said, in order to get into that state where things just come to you and it comes naturally to you, yeah, you have to give up your life pretty much. You can't live a normal life and be like a normal person anymore. You kind of have to live for the thing, the craft. I'm willing to do it. I'm thinking that's what I'm planning on doing. I am planning on living for my craft because I feel like those were the only times I was like truly ever like happy as hell when I was only living for the thing that I wanted to do, and I did not care about anything else. Those are the happiest. Actually, calling it happy is not even the right way of describing it. So like you're at peace. You get what I'm saying? Like nothing else matters but the thing you're trying to make accomplish.
I can get that. Like, even like as I sit here and like just build this like motorcycle, I've
You know?
felt that like kind of bliss is like nothing else matters, bro. Like just this, me and my fucking Lego kit. Just like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that's why it's like like oh actually you know what it's funny you mentioned this. Now we can talk about something that I was watching something about. So Henry Cavill found himself in the middle of a controversy. I was watching something about this.
He's a
Um,
Henry Cavill controversy.
yeah, he this hasn't been the first time actually he's found himself in trouble. There was one time he said something about the Me Too movement and like how it was kind of going too far, and people got pissed at him for that, of course. And then he kind of had to backtrack and retract his statements.
I feel
But
like him saying it's gone too far is like the most mild thing that you can
yeah,
say
yeah,
about the
he could have said
movement.
a lot worse, but he didn't. And then, but he basically people who work on The Witcher were saying that apparently he created a toxic environment because he basically basically he was like apparently so obsessed with the source material that because even like Henry Cavill is the Giga Chad nerd. That's like the whole thing. He's into Warhammer. He's sitting there painting Warhammer
Man's
figurines.
into
He,
Warhammer. You know how nerdy you have to be into being on Warhammer. Like
he plays
you gotta
loves
be.
video games. He actually knows a little bit about these comic book characters. He's one of the only guys who, when they talk about how they love the character and they've been reading them, I actually believe him because like he, you can see it that he's telling the truth. But yeah, apparently when he would refuse to do certain scenes that he felt did not fit with Geralt, like things that Geralt would not do or say, he would refuse to do them. And like there'd be like shirtless scenes and stuff he was supposed to do, and he'd refuse to do it. He didn't want to do that stuff. So they said he was creating like a toxic environment. And then like it went on, and like I think there were like articles about this
Toxic
saying that
environment for not wanting to be shirtless.
yeah, yeah, for not wanting to be sexually harassed. Yeah, to not wanting to be sexually objectified. And then like they were saying that oh he would use gamer bro language in real life, and he went down the QAnon pipeline. Like they were trying to say he was
QAnon
radicalized.
pipeline.
Yeah, basically they were trying to say gamer culture radicalized him and turned him into
Gamer
like
culture. Gamer culture radicalized this man.
yeah, that's the idea. The idea is
Uh,
when you have hobbies and stuff, you're radicalized. And,
gamer
oh
culture.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yo,
you
wait,
know,
no, come on. Wait, what? What does that even mean? What does that mean, bro?
oh,
Also,
know,
like you're mad at the person for being down for the source material, for trying to
yeah,
like make the thing that you're working on like correct.
yeah, actually adhere to the thing that it's supposedly inspired by.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like imagine because I have no doubt in my mind. It's probably like no one cares about that shit. And it's like, nigga, it's the whole reason. Like it's popular. It's the whole reason we're even doing this right now. So how you
exactly.
gonna look me in the face and say no one cares? Like clearly
Yeah,
someone cares, which is why we're doing this production.
yeah.
Like
The
I'm not
reason
gonna
we're
let you
even
just
doing it.
make Geralt like a fucking like just taking his shirt off. He's like, "Oh man, I need to slay this werewolf." Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Like in Captain America holding the fucking helicopter for no reason. Like, what the fuck did that happen? Why did that
No,
happen?
Captain America apparently he said he wanted to be shirtless in that scene, and the director was like, "No."
Because that's dumb. That's
Yeah, because
dumb.
it's like, how would you? Why would you be shirtless?
Why
Like,
would your shirt be off? Like that doesn't make any sense. Do you think this is like fucking what was that nigga's name from Fairy Odd Parents?
Mondissimo just.
Yeah,
Ugh.
what easy mode? Just like ripping your shirt off for no reason. But yeah, so
Which
he
wait,
found
wait, wait, one more
like
thing before you
yeah,
continue is like it was just it's funny because you mentioned this. I read a thing about how the girl who plays Wanda, Jenna Ortega, I think
yeah,
she she was getting praised for doing that. For there was some lines she refused to say, and people was like, "Oh my god, they're so good." So that she refused to say these cringy lines. And I was
you already know
like,
how it
I'm not
works.
even blaming. I'm not even saying like it's
Yeah,
bad. Like she should have just done the thing. But it's like it's weird that it's like, all right, if he does it, he's too obsessed and he's radicalized. But if she does
yeah,
it, yas, queen. It's just like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah.
make up
When
your mind, bro.
when men act out of strength and dominance, it's a bad thing. Right? They act like it's always bad. But then when the strength and dominance is in their protection, now they're thankful for it. They're happy. Um, it's like because the GamerGate stuff now. All nerd culture is toxic. Like basically, they come, and when I say
Rub
they,
it all in
you
your
know who they
face.
is. You know who they is. I don't want to. I don't even
People
have
who
to get it.
run game
You know
companies
who they is.
are probably toxic as fuck, and I don't even think they're gamer bros. I do not think they're gamer bros. People who run corporations are the same
No,
people
no,
who run
not Gamer Bros.
corporations.
GamerGate. I mean, the
Yeah, I
fans of
know,
the
bro. But it's like
yeah,
like there are certain game companies that are like always in the news for having like literal sexist culture. It's not because they're gamer country companies. Like these are regular companies. It's just y'all want to like give it the time of day because it was a gamer company.
yeah,
Like they want to do like it's an agenda. It's like see these gamer companies are so weird. It's like bro, you think Meta isn't toxic as fuck? You think Meta
yeah.
isn't weird?
Yeah, they get exposed things. There are leaked documents about in
But
the internal working
the amount of
environment.
shit that I hear about Riot Games or this other game, and I'm not saying that like this shit's good or nothing, but just like when you start noticing the whatchamacallit, the kind of press that one place gets versus the other place, it's just like, what
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
doing? Like,
yeah. It's popular to dunk on gamer companies because the GamerGate thing happened. So now they're newsworthy. Now gamer companies are suddenly newsworthy. Um, but yeah, it's like they basically these people. I'm not even trying to get into specifics, but these people invade fandoms. Whatever. I'm gonna say it. Women, right? Women who are not actually fans. I'm not gonna be an asshole and claim that all women are not real fans, right? But there are women who are not really fans of many of these things.
there are
Maybe
men who
things.
are not really fans too. Just saying.
Yeah, true, true. But the thing is, men don't do things the same way because the women that are not really fans, they enter these spaces that
They
have their
want the
own
attention.
rules
They want the
and their
attention.
own
They want the attention.
yeah, and then they try to subvert it. They start trying to change things in it. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like things were okay the way they were. Like, can you stop? Like, can you stop? Like it's I don't want they're like, oh, this game has too many sexualized scenes. They'll say something like that. Well, let's not even get the sexualized stuff. They'll start complaining about the violence and things. You're just like, what the fuck? Like games have been violent and brutal for as long as I remember. Can we just leave them alone? Like I'm okay with that. I want them to be this way. Like
I
yeah,
want them to be this way. Why is it
yeah,
violent? Because I want it that way.
exactly. It's like it's not everything has to like that's the main mistake that this fucking main character syndrome people have. Like just because you don't like something or you don't like the conventions of something doesn't mean that thing is wrong. It can just be that it was not made for you and it's time to step away, you know? That's what I do like when I was with that girl the other day and we were talking about Marvel and I was telling her I don't like these Marvel things, it's fine for her to be into them, but I was like, it's not, like these things are not made for me. Like I basically was explaining to her, they're not made for me. They're made for you. I was like, they're made for your
They're made
enjoyment.
for
That's
you.
why you enjoy them so much. It's like they're not made for me because I actually
What do you
know
mean
a
by
lot
that?
about. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. You kind of see like the Trey Rogers guy or whatever. But
Yeah, that's exactly
it's
what
like
it sounds
basically
like.
you take like this fucking like to show you the perfect encapsulation of who those movies and or whatever is made for and who they're not. When I went up to her poster, like I told you in the chat, and I'm looking at the comic book poster, and I start naming all the characters on the poster, and it was mad funny because I was bashing Marvel the entire night, like jokingly talking about how Marvel sucks and how I don't really like Marvel. I was like, I don't. I was like, I've read Marvel comics before, but I don't really like Marvel comics that much. I was like, I like DC, and I'm sitting there naming all these obscure Marvel characters, talking about information about them. And she's like, how the fuck do you even know any of these people? Like, she couldn't recognize some of them because they're the cartoon versions, they're the comic versions. Um, and I'm just like, she's like, I thought you hated Marvel, and I was like, I mean, I don't hate Marvel, I just don't like it that much. I was like, how do you know all this stuff? It's like I couldn't really answer the question, man. I don't know.
I read the
I don't
books. What
know.
do you mean?
Yeah, there you go.
I read the
It's like
books. Did you not read the books?
yeah, but yeah, that's the perfect thing. It's like it shows you those movies are not made for people who are truly fans. Like like even we had a conversation where she was showing me this like this Easter egg channel she watches, which I've heard of. And I was and even she had to agree with me. I was like, I fucking hate the Easter egg stuff. Because I was like, she finished the sentence for me to show that I was on the nose and even normies are starting to realize this. I was like, if I really feel like they make the Easter eggs just so people could make, and then she finishes it and make videos like that. She was like, yeah, she was like, yeah, because she's like, some of these videos will be like 100 Easter eggs in this trailer, and she's like, that kind of shit is crazy. And I was like, yeah, it's
100
because
Easter eggs in a trailer?
yeah,
In
yeah,
a trailer, bro?
yeah.
It's not an
Well, a lot
Easter
of
egg
it
no more. Like it's not
is
hidden.
not. A lot of it is just niggas probably grasping at straws. But then at the same time, like I said to you a long time ago, and you probably remember when we had a discussion about this, like ages ago. I was like, I'm 100% sure these Marvel companies have a division now, and the division's job is to take whatever script a writer has written and to seed it with like you know, stupid Easter eggs, the meaningless Easter eggs that someone could be like, oh, that's a reference to that one comic from 1976, and it's like it has no bearing to the story, but it's there for some reason. You know what I mean?
No, I can feel that because I remember at the end of what Iron Man 3 when he took the thing out his chest, right? I think it was 3.
Yeah.
They were talking about, oh, you can see that this is Doctor Strange's hand, and
Oh yeah, that
I
was
was like,
goofy.
how? They're like,
That
oh,
was
well, you see, he's
goofy.
wearing this ring or he's wearing this watch, or I was just like,
That was
no, nah.
goofy.
I was
Bro.
like, nah.
That was that was Marvel fans at their goofiest when they did that shit. But the only thing that compares to how goofy that was the Spider-Man theory. Remember that he was in Iron Man 2?
Oh yeah, when he was a kid.
He said that was him. And then this nigga Tom Holland was trying to say the theory was right. And I was like, please
He's
stop.
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, I wouldn't blame him though if he was like, yo, Tom, was this true? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure,
Oh,
100%. Yeah, I was in that movie.
oh my god.
That was
But
Spider Man. Why was he in Sokovia?
but yeah, that just touches on me. Like the reason I mentioned the Henry Cavill thing is because someone mentioned a very interesting perspective on it. That was pretty much the gamer Chad doesn't have time for his girlfriend meme, but in real life. And I was like, oh shit. It's like he was sitting there swatting away this female attention. He got in trouble for it. And I've experienced that shit in real life about how like when I did not want to do something, like I was telling the girl a story about like how some I forgot how we this came to it. I don't remember why. Well, I think she started complimenting me like obsessively. And I think I told a story about how oh I was telling her a story about how obsessive and and like nerdy I can be. Like when I'm really into something. And you've seen me in those states when I'm really into stuff and I get excitable or whatever.
Yeah, I'm
And
like, yo, bro, shut up.
yeah. So like I was like talking to her about how every year I'll sit there like rewatching Justice League the animated series. So I was doing that again, right? And I was talking about how this girl wanted me to do stuff with her. And I'm like, oh, just at least let me finish the episode. I was like, let me finish this episode and we can do the stuff. And she's like forcing me. And I was like, and I was telling her she pretty much me too'd me. Like those are the words I used. I was like, she pretty much forced me, like pushed me down. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like I was like, I can't fight you because like I will get in trouble. And like
The
it's like
cops come like, yo, what happens? Like, look, listen here, officer. She really wanted to blow me, and I just didn't want it.
Yeah,
I
so
just
I
didn't
knocked
want
her
to.
out.
So
I knocked her teeth out of her mouth.
so I had to give her what's what, you know. And the officer's like, yeah, you going to jail. You going to jail, and I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'll beat you. That one was for free.
That was, oh my god.
That one's for
But
free.
it's like yeah, when you're like intensely focused on something, I've noticed a lot of this from women. I'm just gonna be honest, because
Toxic.
men are like usually think you're cool when you're hype when you have something you're good at or you really like. Because like I remember I was talking to this girl, not like in a romantic way, just a girl I knew, and she was dating this guy, and the guy had a thing where he liked to collect. It was just his hobby. It was
I
something
remember
he
it was like ants or something.
yeah, he'd collect ants. He'd like find ants like outside and like catch them and put them in this like ant farm thing he had. And like she was like, it was so fucking weird. Like she seemed so angry about it. Like a
I
little
don't lie.
too
It is weird,
yeah, but
but there's
I
no
thought
reason
I
to be
said it.
angry about it.
Yeah, I was like, it's weird but kind of cool. I was like, it's weird but kind of cool that he does that. I was like, it just sounds like he has a cool thing he likes to do. I was like, it's something that keeps him happy. And she
Not my
really
business, you know.
yeah. I was like, it's none of my business. But she seemed so bothered by it. And I was like, oh, it's because the thing she's wondering if he likes doing the thing more than he likes her. I was like, oh, she's mad that his hobbies take precedence over her. That's what it is.
It's
Because
like,
I've experienced that a
damn,
lot
he
in my
has
life.
things that exist beyond me.
Yes, yes.
I
Because
won't
I've
even
had
lie. I knew a person, right? And they
yeah.
were like, they ended their relationship with their mans, and like they were talking to me about it afterwards, and they were just really upset that their man's was like their ex man's was able to move on, and she was like really wanted to like for him to be hurting as much as her, and I was like, why? And it's like, cause
That's
that
a
does, it
great
means he
question.
never loved me, and I was like, that's stupid.
What the
I was like,
fuck?
that's fucking stupid. Like, like, like that's dumb. Cause one, it's like you broke up with him.
She
You
was
left
just
him anyway. So who? What does it matter? What does it matter if he never loved you? Two, you were just like assuming all this shit. What if he's with her because he's trying to get over you? You don't know that. You don't know that. You want to know why all that shit goes in her head? Because she listened to her whole ass friends. Stop listening to your whole ass friends, bro. Stop it.
oh my god. Hold on, give me a second.
Stop listening to your whole ass friends.
It's true. They will tell you to do stupid shit that can ruin your life.
Nah, bro.
Um,
Like every time, like this girl tells me anything that her whole ass friends tells her, I'm just like, stop doing that. Listen to me or your brother. And that's not even because we were men. It's because her friends are just actively leading her down the wrong path.
yeah. Well, a lot of it is envy. You know, they probably envy her when she's doing well, so they try to ruin it. That's my honest to God belief about something. Because the advice somebody, it just literally sounds like it could have come from nowhere but malevolence, like malice. Like it
Nah,
just,
I feel you because sometimes I hear some things. I'm like, they said that to you, like with their mouth, like they opened their mouth and said that, like that ass.
they done
Like this
wild.
person is giving you advice. This person is giving you advice in your relationship. How many times have you been single? Ah,
Oh
okay.
god.
Well, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
Stop
But
it. Stop
yeah,
listening to
like
your whole friends.
fucking hell.
I feel very
What were you saying?
passionate about that.
You're talking about the shit. Were you something related to what you just said, and I almost forgot. Oh yeah, about specifically related to that story you just told about her girl being mad about her ex moving on. So I was looking at Reddit, right, and there's this subreddit called Trashy, and Reddit sucks for the most part, but there are a few
Few
subreddits that
little
are kind
gems, few gems out there
of
on
right.
Reddit.
So like has some funny things. A lot of Trashy is them just making fun of people for having different lifestyles from them is what I noticed. It's just a bunch of liberals. Like someone's conservative, oh, art trashy. This conservative said conservative thing. And it's like I was like, how is that trashy? These
This
have different.
conservative thinks that it's like cool to love his family. Loser.
Yeah, so trashy. Anyways,
It's not even
um,
like I am conservative myself, but like I see this shit
yeah,
that they're like mad about. I'm like, that man didn't say anything wrong. Like
exactly.
like
He didn't say shit. He just said something, and you're just mad at who said it. This is
Yeah,
what it
really.
was.
It's just like you were mad that that person said
Or
it.
maybe he said it in a way that like maybe
No, no,
you
no, no.
would.
It's not even that. It's not even that. And that's what really gets me. It's just like it'll be the most basic ass shit, but because, for example, if Ben Shapiro said it, then it's bad.
It's a bad thing, yeah.
It's a bad thing. And it's not even like I
So
advocate for Ben Shapiro. I don't know that nigga. But like I'm not
yeah,
gonna sit here and act like everything this man has ever said is the worst thing that's ever said by a human. Is the right one? This is the right one.
yeah. So, anyways,
It's goofy.
our trashy thing. The thing, it was a post of some woman. She's like, oh, something like my ex of 5 years, or like it's been 5 years since he left me, and I just be laughing at everything that he been getting after. None of it could compare to me. And like it was it was just real funny. It's like you really think you think you're winning? Like you think make a post like that is a win? Like that shit just makes you look bitter and
Yeah,
sad.
it's like wait, it's been 5 years and you still keeping up with like who he trying to
You
date, bro?
exactly. Like that is some sad shit. Like what the fuck? Oh my
Like
god.
how are you even like what? You still follow him on Instagram or some shit? Like
I think it was a Facebook post in the thing I saw. So I was
Like,
like,
could
that
not be
is
me. Like, I can't keep up
today.
with people that I don't talk to. Like, I like
Yeah,
physically can't. Like, I would not
yeah.
know how to do that.
I mean, there's no way to do it unless you're connected to them on social media and like watching. And when you have to literally watch, like
Yeah.
every
Because,
once in a
bro,
while
like,
I would
even if
see
I was
something.
following them on social media, I have to, like, pay extra attention.
Exactly. Like I would see something of someone I haven't talked to in ages on social media. I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that person. But like sitting there like making posts about it and like paying extra attention, like nah, it
See,
sounds like you're
there's a
just not
difference
over.
between someone I haven't talked to in a while and someone, like, I actively just don't fucks with.
Oh yeah,
Because
someone
then
you
I'm just
don't
like,
like.
why am I
I
still
wouldn't even be
following? Oh,
following
I
this
don't
thing.
fuck with you? I will unfollow you. Like,
Yeah.
100%. Like,
Yeah, like if you really
we aren't
piss me off.
friends. Why are you on my friends list?
Exactly, exactly. I would not like if your relationship ended so badly that you have to make fun of all his significant others after that, then why are you still observing his social media, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
There's a few
But
things like we stopped talking to Armin, right? He's still on
yeah,
my PlayStation friends list, but that's because he has not shown up on that thing for me to be like, oh, let me remove him. In fact, I think
yeah,
I did remove him when because I was like going through the list. I was like, oh, is that guy? I deleted it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of the time, I don't even give people the extra thought to to delete them. Like they just disappear from my existence. Like I just can't even notice them anymore.
Like I was already there as well. I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Delete.
Yeah, you'll see it in front of you, and then it'll come back like, oh yeah, that's that dickhead. Like even I was because again, people love going through my phone. I don't know why women get that comfortable with me, but I was going
It's
through
because
my
you let them.
Instagram talking about yeah, that was part of it. I was letting her do it because I was trying to unfollow people, and I was now using this as the excuse to finally do it. And like she would she kept dying of laughter because she would roll up on somebody like, oh yeah, that dickhead. I was just like, oh, I know, I didn't even remember that dickhead was still there. That's what I was, and that shit was having her dead. Everyone was a dickhead. Not everyone, but just every once in a while, I'm like, oh, that dickhead, man. I didn't even know I was following that guy. Like unfollow him, like unfollow that dickhead. Yeah. But anyways,
It be just like that.
guess we can move on to some of the topics.
Nah, we done.
We've been bashing women enough, so we can move right
We
into
bashing
the.
women, bro. I ain't say nothing bad about women, bro.
No, I was just playing. Well, any constructive criticism related to the opposite gender is bashing it apparently. Um, so it's funny that the thing we're about to talk about was mentioned to me by a woman I know who said that I should cover this because she thinks it's very like she thinks it's a travesty that this happens.
I
Pretty
mean,
much,
I
she was saying
agree.
that yeah, women should be prosecuted for false allegations. What she was saying. And I was trying to explain to her, I was like, it's funny you say that. So I was like, there are feminist organizations that literally champion for that not to happen, that they really feel like that should not happen. It'll stop women from coming out. I'm like,
I remember that. They're like, yeah, if you do this, people won't want to come out because if they lose, they'll
yeah,
whatchamacallit,
yeah.
they'll like
I
go
mean,
to jail. But it's like,
yeah.
are you saying that they usually lose? Do they
Mm.
usually lose?
I mean, it's more so. It's like you're clearly making a decision now because now you're saying that the men's lives are not worthwhile enough to defend legally. Like he should not be. He does not deserve to be vindicated, even though his life has probably been thrown into disarray. So apparently, it clearly shows you where men are at in the totem pole when it comes legally. You know what I'm trying to say?
Where did this thing just go?
Like it's clear. Oh, you lost one of your pieces.
Yes, I just
Uh-oh.
had it too.
That's never a good thing when those things drop. They go into another
I
dimension.
don't even think it dropped. That's the thing. But yeah, go on. What were you saying?
Yeah, yeah. It shows you where men are on the totem pole legally. If they don't think men are worth vindicating for their you know, for their lives being thrown into disarray by whatever false allegation.
Cause like, what was it that one football player? He was like on track to go to the NFL, and then like one false allegation, he lost everything. He went to jail for a
Yeah.
few years, and then he came out, and they're like, "Sorry, King." That
It's
was
like,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, tough luck, kid. It's like, so I was really surprised that she was like going on at length about it because I've met very few women women will talk at end to no end about all sorts of things. Like women I know about all the things that the tragedy of being a woman and things men do and men, oh I hate men. I fucking
Same.
hate that.
I also hate men.
I mean, I think men are goofy, but for different reasons. It's funny. They think they hate men for things that I think men should keep doing, and then I think men are goofy for the things they want men to do. Like they'll be telling me stories about the shit men. Oh, he gives me all his money, and they're like, "It's funny." I'm like,
That's
that's
goofy
sad.
as fuck.
Yeah, I'm like, that's sad. I was like, I remember I was just talking to someone at work about this. I was like, it's an unfortunate thing when a man is finally domesticated.
When he is
When he's,
domesticated.
yeah,
God
when he's
damn.
fucking because yo, when a man gets like fucking like when you like you'll say whipped, right? It really is like he becomes a pet. You know what
I
I mean?
mean, yeah. There's no other
Like
word
you
for it.
become
Oh,
like
the bags is over there. I can't continue.
oh jeez.
Oh,
What are
you
you
know what'd be
saying?
funny? We're not even live.
We're not?
Nah, it's fucking.
Oh my god.
Nah, fucking.
That that would have been oh my god. I mean something like that did happen to us once.
Nah, bro,
Oh
that was me yesterday. Literally, like looked at the time. Right now, it's like 30 minutes, and I was like, there's no live symbol there. I was like, no way, no way. But
jeez.
nah, it's fucking with you.
Yeah. I mean
So,
what do you so what is your whole take
I mean,
on
I don't think there's a take to have. Like, this person ruined this person's life through, like, what is it, slander, liable, one of them, like, literally did the thing that you're not supposed to do legally, like illegally, I guess. So it's like, pack them up, send them, ship them off. Like, you put this man in jail for X amount of years for something that did not happen, and it took what? How many years for someone to even reconsider
yeah.
that shit? And then,
Even if we don't want to say you took years of his life, like let's
like,
say he
the
had a few
allegation alone is enough to ruin your
yeah.
life.
Let's
Like,
say he
that
had a
alone is
few
enough.
like, let's say he didn't even go to jail or anything. Like even I do think the jail is the worst case scenario. But like even you have the scenarios where like let's say the guy doesn't go to jail, but his life is thrown into utter disarray. Like I said, like he loses everything. Like yeah, it's like you should definitely receive some kind of punishment, right? Yeah. But I will the one thing I will give the feminist, right, is I can understand the idea that the punishment might make people less likely. But then again, maybe people should put some more consideration into an allegation like that. Maybe because sometimes these allegations are crazy. Like a girl, like the girl with the fucking that Indian actor, the Indian comedian guy. I forgot his name. Aziz Ansari, I think.
Yeah, what
Where
about him?
when she huh?
What about him?
Yeah, remember some photographer he meets gives him head, and like he kind of like sort of pressured her to do it, right? But
Never heard
she's
about
in
that.
his house. She came to his house after going to dinner with him, and he didn't pressure her like force her. He just kept asking, and she does it. And like she writes an article the next day as if that is like she's like, oh, it's the R word, right? I remember when I was talking to some girls about this, they're like, it definitely is the R word. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, so like maybe, just maybe, if there were consequences for saying some out of pocket ass, claim like that, people would not jump to
I mean,
conclusions so quickly like that.
I feel like it's not like we're just gonna write into law if you lose case you go to jail, right? Like
Exactly.
it's not gonna. That's not what it'd be. It's like if
Yeah.
they deem that it is a false accusation, like
Yeah.
that means like you straight up boldface lied.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
You
if,
made
if
it
there
up.
are like some nuances to like say that Aziz Ansari case, and they're like, well, maybe it wasn't the R word. You
Yeah.
probably wouldn't go to jail for that because the situation did happen.
Yeah.
But if you were just like, yeah, that person over there did that thing, and they turns like, y'all weren't even in the same state.
Hmm.
There should be some
No,
something about
but
that, bro.
you can't. But even then, it could be like the girl has sex with guy. Guy pisses her off. She accuses guy of rape. Now that it would be
That too,
very hard.
it'd be
Yeah.
something
So like
like that.
definitely she should be punished. And what I'm saying is like in a situation where there are now consequences, she's not gonna do something like that. If or at least she's gonna think. She's gonna have second thoughts. She's gonna be like, maybe I shouldn't because I could get in trouble. But now they know. They know nothing will happen, so they're gonna do it. And they make jokes about that kind of shit. Girl, women have made
Yeah, they get those
jokes
bags.
about that kind of stuff to me. So I don't know, man. But like I said, there are feminists championing against this. But meanwhile, they believe that there should be legal repercussions for every fucking thing a man does. Fucking, how can we live in a planet where women who false allegate should not be prosecuted, but people should be fined for dead naming people and for not using their pronouns? How could you hold
I actually just
those
saw the
two
Ivan Preach video
ideas
about
in your
that.
head? Huh?
I saw the Ivan Preach video about that. This person was upset that not even the person who they are recording, but one of the other employees called them by the wrong, Mr. and Mrs. I don't know what is that. What is that? It's not a pronoun. What is it?
Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
title. I guess it's a
oh,
title,
yeah, it's a title. It's a title.
right? So they called them
Yeah.
by the wrong title, and like the manager is now talking to them, and the manager's like, "I'm sorry that happened to you. What do you want me to like refer you as like?" And they're like, "What do I look like?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, what do you think?" And he's like, "Well, to me, you look like a man." Then they like turn the camera, and they're like,
I think I've seen that before. I
and
think I've
it's
seen
like,
that before. And it's clearly a dude, like in a wig or some shit, right?
regardless, it's just like the whole reason this is even happening is because of assumptions. So how you gonna tell this man to assume something now?
Yeah, very dumb, very dumb. It just shows you a lot of people just aren't thinking. They're just not
And
thinking.
like it wasn't even that person. This person was at least trying, right? He was at least trying. He's like, "Look, what do you want me to call you? Like, what do you want me to call you?" And they're
Well,
like
yeah,
it was just so weird because it seemed like they wanted it to be a situation where everyone automatically knows immediately what to say to anyone in any given situation because it's like that one is impossible because all right, you say like that person was a trans person, right? But what if they were just a straight up cross dresser and like they did go by sir?
yeah, it's a
Like
possibility.
like what's going on here? Like how like you can't know everything. It's like
I mean,
it's
that person,
impossible.
they just wanted their controversy. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
no, it really did seem like this person just wanted to fight. Like they just wanted to catch a case. Like they were just mad because
Yeah.
like like the manager wasn't even saying anything wild. He was like, "I'm sorry you felt discriminated against." Uh, especially like I think the case was the person's name was like something masculine. Like it was like David something, and they were like, "All right, sir," and then like they pull up and it's like, "Actually, it's ma'am." And it's like, "Sorry, that's my bad. What can I get for you?" And they were like, they were not having it. They weren't
Yeah.
having it, and it's like, well, at that point, what do you want me to do?
Well, we can go to the bat for those people, and any offense to them should be legally prosecuted. There are people who literally believe this. Like it's not even like if you're talking to a very because like a lot of people who you argue with, I remember we spoke about this. They don't argue in good faith, so they'll be arguing with bad faith. So if you're arguing with a bad faith liberal, they will pretend that no one's asking for that kind of stuff. And you're like, no, I can literally pull up the thousands of examples
Also, you
of
were asking
people.
for it right now. Like in this,
Exactly.
like you were saying, this is what you want. Like
But,
that's
but
the
bad
only
faith
way
liberals will
that this
change
argument
their
that we were
whole.
having like
Yeah.
is resolved if you get that scenario.
Yeah. Well, bad faith liberals will change their whole fucking ideology on a whim just to try and win the argument.
Just to get a gotcha. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like
You got.
people like say we have a private conversation and then like now this topic's brought up in public and you have all these different opinions. I'm like, that's not what you were saying yesterday, bro.
No.
Like,
Yeah. It's like you were saying something completely different the
like,
other day.
like what's going on? He's like, well, I can't make us look bad. It's like, no. You're making us look bad right now because
Yeah.
I know. And now
Yeah.
I don't trust you. I don't trust
Exactly.
anything that you say.
So yeah, it's like we can have 1,001 legal laws put into effect to stop people from dead naming and doing all this stuff. But at the same time, people should be able to utter false claims against people whenever they want and just walk away scot-free, even though they ruin the other person's life. And I really feel like, and this is where I'm gonna put on my Hotep cap here. I really feel like if you don't support the idea that people should be prosecuted for this, you practically agree with fucking with white supremacy because everyone knows the ultimate tool against a black dude is saying he raped you. Like that's like the ultimate weapon against it. That's our one weakness. There's nothing we can do against that. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, when I was dealing with that person for that one guy I don't talk to no more, like I caught up to her and she just started screaming that. I was like, yo, you want me to die? Like you want me dead, bro? Cause like
dead.
Like, I didn't even do nothing. I caught up to them because like she stole his phone. I got the phone back and she just started screaming it, top of her lungs, not a joke. Like, and I was like, yo, stop. Like, I will die. And she thought about it. She's like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, so you understand. So you get it. Like, you understand that, like, I will get fucked over for that.
I will die.
And, like, some guy was just standing there the whole time, too. So he witnessed that shit. He witnessed this, like, just this blatant lie on my name.
Yeah. I remember that's part of why I remember I was so like I try to explain that kind of shit to people all the time. Like, remember I told that story about the girl I was dating when she was drunken and she took my phone, and I was taking it back from her, and the guy came and intervened, and I got pissed at him. Right? So I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, please don't try and play hero. Like, because if you try to play hero, it's gonna be death of Superman out here. Okay? I was like stop.
What you gonna
Stop.
do, hero?
Yeah, hero, like you about to turn me into a bond. Like, please stop. I was like, don't do this, man. Like, you're not that guy, man. You're not that guy. You know? So like I remember when we had a discussion about it and I was like enraged at her, talking like you have me in the middle, white country, like I'm deep there in Manhattan, and you have this fucking white savior motherfucker walk up to me. I was like, what if that motherfucker decided to call the police? And then I'm the big angry black guy fucking menacing you and all these other white people, and then I get my ass thrown in the back of a fucking cop car for just trying to get my phone back. And who knows, maybe my ass gets whooped too. Maybe I get the shit beaten out of me. Yeah, huh?
You just get jumped.
Yeah, like who knows? Like what if like I get into a fight with the guy? What if it becomes physical? Like me and the guy are now fighting each other. Cops are called. Cops get there. They beat the shit out of me. Right? Because like if I'm fighting this old ass man, huh?
Like you owe them money.
Yeah, like if I'm winning the fight against this guy, that might actually be what happens. Like they run up and see me beating the shit out of somebody. Next, you know, I'm getting curb stomped. like come on, man. I was just saying, like I really didn't like you did that. It really fucking pissed me off. Like, and she was silent and, like you said, understood, showing you that they know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah, they always know. They always know, bro. They always know. And could not be me. Could not. The thought like that would never cross my mind.
Yeah.
To weaponize the populace against somebody just because I don't like them, could not.
Yeah.
Hell, even if I don't fuck with someone, I won't even go out of my way to turn all my friends against them. I'll just be like, yo, I don't like that guy. That's it. That's the extent, bro.
Ramen is Japanese, right?
Who? Ramen, yeah.
Ramen. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's like, yeah, man, I don't know, man.
But
That's why,
noodles are
especially,
Chinese. Noodles in
it's
general,
Chinese.
they're Chinese noodles.
Oh,
Like
okay.
pasta, like the noodles, like they came from China.
Well, I'm just gonna say, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Honestly,
Mm,
if you start looking into the history of food, it's just like kind of weird. Cause like
mm,
even like a thing that you like are like really like are like even something that is really tied to your culture well might have its roots based in somewhere else where
yeah.
like someone came over and introduced this food to everybody or
Yeah,
like like an aspect of it, right? Like
Jamaica
noodles.
has a Jamaica has many examples of that. Lots of Jamaican foods came from other cultures, like curry. The whole thing, curry is not really a Jamaican
Yeah, I
thing.
think it's from India, right?
Yeah, the whole idea of the Indian, like they're literally mimicking Indian foods with their curry.
Yeah,
Um,
and like in they have there's Caribbean curries, there's Indian curries, then there's Jamaican curries. All three are
yeah,
completely different.
yeah.
But you know, like I'm pretty sure they all have their same like base, right? Like
Yeah, I literally think what happened is India, the growing Indian population in Jamaica is what introduced the usage of curry into Jamaican food.
Jamaica. Well, didn't they start in? Well, not start, but like didn't most of them go to Guyana?
I don't, well, yeah, they went to Guyana, but there are also a bunch of Indians in Jamaica,
Yeah, no, but
and
I'm trying to like think of like most of them went to Guyana, right?
yeah, and I think Guyana is another place with a lot of fucking
Yeah,
also
bro, if you look
Guyana,
at a Guyanese person and you put them next
Trinidad,
to an Indian
yeah,
person, you're like, y'all related?
yeah, Guyana, Trinidad, those two places have a lot. But yeah,
That was a little tangent there.
I guess we talked about this at length anyway. This idea that women should definitely be
Cause like,
prosecuted
bro,
when
what
they.
else is there to say? Like, I agree, and like, I don't think, like, I can understand the idea that if the law is written poorly, that it will backfire. But
Yeah,
you just have to sit there, like you can't just like fight for the law. You have to fight for the terminology that gets put into place. And I was
yeah,
actually watching a debate about legalization versus decriminalization of weed, and it actually
yeah,
moved me to the idea that I would prefer decriminalization over legalization because
yeah,
a lot of legalization just means that a bunch of big greedy corporations that were already profiting
yeah.
off of the incarceration of black people over weed is going to start profiting off of like a bunch of young people smoking weed. Like that's all it's going to do,
That was
really.
the point that I made right away. Like that was my first thought. That
And it's like,
no,
yeah, no, I
no,
thought about it, but you know, like I had hope that like you could break out in these new businesses, but I was like, nah, you don't have enough
no.
funds to do that.
The idea
Like
that that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to
it's just
compete.
like not feasible
Yeah,
because if I have a bunch of funds and I can see that this business is gonna boom, I can be an early adopter. I can eat those few bad years of like low profits for when it booms and like everyone's on board, you know?
and then a lot of these goofballs aren't gonna go about it with actual business sense. They're gonna sit there on a street corner trying to sell it the same way they were selling it before.
And all that
And,
means is that guy still goes to jail because his shit's unregulated.
yeah, but like you try to do it that way instead of trying to shift things. Like if these people were smart and tried to move faster with the times, and so oh they
Bro,
legalized.
you'll never be able to move fast enough
Yeah, you're
because by
not
the
going.
time this shit is already talked about in the public, they were talked about behind closed doors anyway.
Yeah, sure. But my point is, you could have at least been in a better position instead of sitting there on the street corner in your fucking poo shiesty mask, fucking with your fucking goofy ass cardboard sign you drew on
I prefer
with a
Scully.
sharpie.
I
Huh?
prefer calling them Scullies.
Well, Scully, whatever, man. But you have your fucking cardboard shit. You don't even have a table to put it on. They'll have it like fucking laying on the wall next to them. Like you are goofy,
Also,
sir.
isn't it still illegal to do that shit? How are people really out here just like in the middle of a park
I
like,
don't think
yo?
cops care anymore.
But it's like
The
it's still
corporation
illegal, right?
Well, the corporations told the cops you don't have to go Frank Castle on these guys anymore. It's okay. And the cops were like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think the cops care to do anything if they don't
No.
have to. Like I
Cops,
generally believe that they do not give a
they don't.
fuck.
Yeah, if they're told they don't have to do something anymore, they're happy. Not well, not all of them. Some of them are assholes.
Yeah, like
But
there's definitely gonna be that. I swear, there's probably that one guy who he goes and it's like, ha ha, ticket, ticket, ticket.
yep, yep. But yeah, you got to remember these guys are just foot soldiers for the state. That's what police officers are. They're not your
They're the
friends.
foot
They're
clan, bro.
yeah, they're like even you got. It's like trying to explain this to white people sometimes. Oh, they learned. Their asses learned when that shit happened in January.
It's
I forgot
like
what
these
day it was.
niggas ain't your friends.
Yeah, they learned. They learned, but that whole thing was fake anyway. But the people observing it saw. They're like, "Oh, wait a minute. You mean the cops that we defended in every single scenario and situation? They aren't completely innocent. They don't have our best interest at heart. They work for the government. Wow, I had no idea. you know. Um,
Same.
but yeah. But I mean, that makes me move on to the next thing.
What's the next
The
thing?
fact that there seems to be really be like no desire to try and shift things, like especially in terms of the legal landscape. You have that respect in terms of like men, how men are treated legally, and then you have like things like even with that situation where people it's like where you can only only certain kinds of protest are allowed and others aren't, and that kind of thing. Do you feel like
Uh,
there's a revolution brewing? You think the revolution might be imminent?
the revolution will not be televised, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Blood clot. This is
Do you think
bull.
it's possible that we're gonna have a counterculture revolution soon? People are gonna start fighting back. Like even if we're not gonna say violent, you think people are gonna start like really pushing back against these things and like trying really hard to
See, that would
shift it?
require effort and like organization and planning, and I feel everyone is too separated and distant, and
True.
because like everyone has their own agendas right now.
Yeah.
So
But
like
couldn't that
even
even
if
be
we
one?
want to do that said revolution, how can we?
I mean, I feel like I mean, I don't really revolt, but there are many things that I don't do. Or I feel like a lot of it doesn't have to be like a violent revolution.
I'm not even talking about a violent revolution.
Yeah,
It's just
I
like
know, but I'm
it's
saying it
like I
doesn't.
said, it just takes organization, and I don't believe that most people are
I feel like
organized.
it's more so a refusing to play by their rules and their games, which kind of happened. The whole COVID thing was a big example of that. They tried very hard to enforce these stupid rules, and it didn't work. People just did not follow them. I feel like something like that is around the corner. It already happens in terms of like smaller scale, like people refusing to buy, like people who just stop buying comic books. They're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with these comic book shit, or the growing population of people who are refusing to vote. Like, I'm not going to participate in this thing anymore because it's clearly rigged and stupid. Stuff like that.
That's me.
Yeah.
Which it's so weird because like I also believe deeply in voting, but not for the presidential election.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
But
if you really want to change things, you gotta get people voting in everything else.
yeah, but then
Before you can tackle that, you have to start. You have to start
part of
small.
part of the problem is they start small. They start small too. Don't get they have everything worked down to the well, not everything. I guess they can't control everything. So you could probably, but yeah, if you start at the macro level, like yeah, your immediate environment, like yeah, like you live in New York, voting for all the shit in New York in your specific, you
In
know,
your county, in your
in your county,
in
yeah.
your county, in your city, prospect, whatever you want to call it, like you really do have to like put in the effort and put in the time to know what's going on. Cause like by the time it gets to the presidential election, I genuinely believe it's too late. Like Trump, Obama, whoever is in charge, Biden, like they're not gonna change the laws to help your mom and pop shop. That's not who's gonna do it, bro.
No, um, yeah. First of all, they don't work for you, so it's like, and they have no power to begin with. Like,
Also,
and
they don't know what the fuck's going on here anyway.
yeah,
Like
it's so
the
annoying
president
when
is not gonna come to your small town and fix whatever shit that your local mayor fucked up. Like
they'll pretend they'll show up in your small town and kiss a baby's head. You know, they'll kiss a few babies' heads and pretend they care about your tiny problems, but they don't give a fuck. Your problems aren't actually tiny. I'm just saying in their respect, in their perspective, it is tiny.
I
They
mean,
don't care.
can you blame them? They gotta deal with the whole country. They gotta deal with other countries.
I mean, no, they have a job to do. They were put there. Basically, whatever corporation decided this person was going to be president already gave them a list of things that they have to do, and that's what they're worried about. They're like, okay, I got to do these things to keep my tenure long lasting. It's like, oh, fucking whatever oil company said I need to do go to war with this country so we can get some of that, some of that sweet oil. Whatever this corporation said I should do this, so I got to do that. It's like I don't give a fuck about your crops. Like I really don't care.
We do. We do. We
Yeah.
do.
Oh, we do.
Crops.
They don't.
Nah, crops are important.
No. Oh, they
Dog,
don't give.
we export those. That's how we make our money.
No, Bill Gates is buying all the crops.
That was a problem. Yeah, that's a fucking problem. He shouldn't do
Yeah.
that. He shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's what he's doing right now. He's doing that shit under the cover of night too. The only people talking about it are like nobodies. Actual companies, like news companies, are not talking about it.
Bro, I remember there was like some. I think something was gonna happen in the school district that Bill Gates lives in, and he was like, "Nah." So he just stopped it. He just stopped it. Like it was like about to happen, and then he was like, "Yo, I don't like that. That's it. Done. Gone. Over with."
That's the power these people have. And then when you try to talk about things like this, people act like you're crazy.
You are crazy,
Like
bro.
I was like not watching something, but there was this post I saw on YouTube, and it was like a snowball, right? And it was like COVID, like a tinier snowball, and then behind it was like um financial collapse, and it was a much bigger snowball behind it. And the idea was like clearly like people were using the COVID thing, saying that's the worst thing ever, but then the financial collapse coming is going to be 1,000 times worse. What people were saying, and someone comments says, "This is the perfect thing of a representation of a 14-year-old who thinks they're deep." And I was like, "You're a fucking idiot." Like I was just in my head, I'm like, I
Yo,
don't understand what.
like, nothing about that is false. Like, yeah, like
Yeah,
the pandemic was bad, but the
yeah.
coming financial like crisis that's going to happen is going to outlive. Like, I like
Pandemic. We're gonna be dealing with that for
the
like the
pandemic
next
is going
five
to be a
years.
footnote in the history books
Yeah.
eventually. It's like, oh
Yes.
yeah, you know that horrible financial collapse that happened. Oh yeah, it was started because of this sickness. Anyway, and like that's how it's gonna be taught. It's gonna be like, yeah. Anyway,
Yo, they're not even gonna. They're gonna say, "Oh, basically, a bunch of people got sick, and then the government started printing money it didn't have, and that destroyed the economy for the next decade." Yeah.
I mean, cause like and like that's how history books we have now tell things, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like how did the world? What was it? World War II. It started with the death of Archduke Ferdinand or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That
And
was
like
a
it's a fucking
part of it.
footnote. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure,
That was World War One. That was World
or
War
World War
One.
One, but I was like, I'm sure at the time it was big news. Like it was like fucking impactful. But like now it's just like, yeah, that guy died, and then a bunch of people got together and started blasting each other. That's how they taught it.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever you start talking about something and like you think it's important, and if the other person like if they get a gauge that it's also important, but they don't know about it, they'll get offended that they didn't know about it, and then start trying to make you feel guilty for knowing about it or something. Like they start trying to make you feel like
Bro,
the
it's not
dumb
that
because
serious.
you knew.
Why you always gotta like take things to the next level, bro?
You know, when someone is saying that kind of stuff, just know that's their self-esteem talking. That's their ego talking.
Especially like if they were talking about some shit like they knew a bunch, and then you're like, actually this, and they're like, bro, why? No one asked you all that.
Yeah,
No one asked
yeah.
you all that.
The guy you just mentioned a little while ago used to do that kind of shit all the time. Where like, if you mentioned something he did not know, his go-to, he would immediately jump to pretending it was something that no one would ever know, and it was not something important anyway. That's what he would always do. Like I remember the classic example was when I said James Brown. He like, who's James Brown?
Oh yeah,
I was
that
like,
guy.
who James Brown is? I was like, oh, this is James Brown. He's like, no, well, no one would ever know who the fuck that was. I was like, are you serious? No one would ever no one would ever know who James Brown is. I was like, that what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, oh, he's just like a vague, like old what do you call it, artist that nobody cared about. I was like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about?
what are you smoking? What crap,
Yeah,
bro?
and then I was like, literally, you can ask anyone you want. I was like, you can go and ask anyone you want. I guarantee. And I was modest about it. I was like, I guarantee 3 out of 5 people will know who James Brown is, or at least have an idea of who he is, right? And he went and he asked the first. All right, I think I said the first person you ask will know who James Brown is. So he went and he asked, and the person knew, but then he came back and he tried to lie. He tried to lie and say, "Yeah, I asked and they didn't know," but then the person messaged me already privately. As soon as like they were,
Because they knew he was gonna lie.
yeah, yeah, they knew he was gonna lie, so they came and told me, "Yeah, I know who it was, Gio." And then when he was
which
lying, trying
which
to
is
lie to my face,
which is a
I was
big
like, "There,
telling of his character right there. That the person
yeah,
who they asked was like, yeah, this guy's gonna go back and lie.
yep." And then they told me, and I said to him, "Yeah, they already told me that they knew already, so go fuck yourself." It's like, oh my god, we live in some interesting times.
No, we
Uh,
just live in the times.
yeah, the times, true. This the present is always the time. Everything in our current present always seems to be the worst thing possible.
I mean, right?
And you look back in the rearview mirror, and it wasn't that.
Like,
Wasn't that?
this is gonna sound really, really bad, but he's like, you remember 9/11? Like, everyone's like, oh my god. Like, bro, the amount of shit that spawned after 9/11, it's affecting us today. Like,
Yeah,
the TSA shit, that's post 9/11 shit that's happening. Like,
yeah,
the, the bro, like, we literally had to stop on building skyscrapers after 9/11.
yeah.
Like, there was literally a period of time where people were like, "Damn, maybe we should never build another skyscraper again because of 9/11." And that shit's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, there are people to this day who act like 9/11 was this meaningless thing. Americans only care about it because maybe who gives a fuck about 9/11? Like that's the ultimate edgelord take
No,
people
no, no,
take.
no. 9/11 affected literally everyone else because
Yes.
the crazy amounts of security we have in America, they have it
Nine-
all over now. It's like it's
The
airport
fucking
standard
the
shit
fuck
now.
the fucking thing that allowed them to start putting surveillance software into your fucking machinery that you were buying from
That
stores.
too, like the amount
Yeah.
of surveillance that is now exists in the world. You're welcome.
Yeah. That they weren't telling you about, that they were just installing in your fucking computers. Oh my god. Oh man, but then it gets real kooky if you start, following certain threads and you come across the belief that 9/11 was a fabricated event to begin with. That's when it gets
Regardless, its
yeah.
impact is not fabricated.
No, it had a real impact on the world. People feeling and trying to act like Americans should not feel sad about 9/11, I think is real goofy and real stupid because like Chinese people to this day whine about the rape of Nanking. And when I say whine, I'm not acting like they shouldn't. I mean, like the rape of Nanking. You know what? I said that badly. Not whine. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
They
I know what
still
you mean because I remember
moan.
Bella Approach had a rising sun tattoo, and bro,
Yeah,
people like flamed her for that shit.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's not like she knew anything about it. I don't want to say she's dumb or anything, but like she just liked the thing. She just liked the flag, like
yeah.
the look of the rising
Even
sun.
I like the
She
flag.
had
It's
to
a cool
fucking
flag.
remove it. She had to get it removed.
Yeah, see, well, that's part of the whole you can't live for yourself anymore when you're famous thing. That sucks.
Yeah, she had to get it
That's why I would
removed. It's covered up.
never. That's why I never wanted to be famous. I'd rather be like a niche guy with a kind of a following than to be like ultra famous because you're not a person anymore when you're
You're
ultra
indeed
famous.
not a person.
Yeah.
Like when Will Smith got up on that stage and slapped Chris Rock, he didn't hurt his family. He hurt America.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's
He
like when
embarrassed me when he did that shit.
when you have a tiny following, you can kind of do whatever you want and no one cares. Especially if you're known for being a dickhead already.
Or like Filthy Frank before he became Joji. What was his name?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't do anything crazy.
But like he switched up real quick, kinda.
Oh, yeah, he changed his image. He had to change it because he wanted to start making actual
Yeah, I mean,
material.
hell, what's his name had to do the same thing. Uh, Little Dicky. Like I'm pretty sure he doesn't even go by Little Dicky anymore. Like
Yeah, that was Little Dicky was one of the most annoying artists on the planet. Cause I remember there was this guy, and I forgot what his name was, but is it Anthony Fantano? I remember what he pointed out was exactly what I was pointing out to someone else. I was like, because this was a rap fan who I would get into his arguments with, where basically this rap man was like, oh, he brings something new to the table. And this is what Little Dicky said, like, oh, I'm bringing something new in terms of like comedy rap. Like that's something that didn't exist. And then
Like what?
lots of people were like, yes, it did. They're like rappers would always try to be funny in there. There were always punchlines in rap songs. It's like there were rappers who were serious rappers that would still have comical moments in their songs. Like well, we don't know what and there were plenty of rappers who their songs were meant to be comical. So
Like
and it's like
Eminem.
yeah, like Eminem was doing what Lil Dicky was doing before, way before he did it. Like
But
every
yo,
Eminem
good.
bar, every Eminem bar when he first started. Well, first he was trying to be real edgy, but then he went into his little phase where yeah, it was pure comedy.
Like what was
His
it? Like that
guitar was
whole
comedy.
D12 song. Was it my band? That whole song is jokes.
Yeah.
That whole song is jokes.
Yeah. Well, Little Dicky came from the period where it was considered really cool and really clever if nothing you said ever had any meaning or was meant to be taken seriously. That meant you were this cool, smart person because no one ever knows what you really mean. That was like that meant you were actually really smart. But usually people who can't string together actual meaning in terms of what they're saying, they're just not saying anything. Yeah. They have nothing to say. So they hide behind sarcasm and humor a lot of the time. And this is coming from a guy who shrouds everything he says in humor for the most part. But see, I do it for a different reason. I do it so
Yeah, because
people
you're
don't
so
get
much
mad
better
about
than
what
everyone else,
I'm
bro.
saying.
You're just
I
so
do it so I
much
don't get
better,
in
bro.
trouble. Now, I'm not saying I'm better. I'm literally saying I do it so I don't get in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
like I'll be saying something that I know I should not be saying. So I make it funny. So I don't so I can get away with it. Like, oh my
No, I
god.
remember you used to do that shit all the time, and I'd be like, "Yo, guys, he's not joking," and then
Yeah.
they would just be like, "Yo, you're just a hater." I'm like, "No. He literally said that shit was like he's literally just making fun of you to your face, and
Yeah.
he thinks it's hilarious." He's like, "Nah, he doesn't. He was just joking." It's like, okay,
Yeah. He's like, okay, believe what you want. Like, oh my god. Like sometimes, no, even like a lot of times, like even the joke. Remember when I showed you the text? I won't say it here, but when I showed you the text, I sent that person, knowing they weren't gonna get it, but just I found it funny that I was
facts.
gonna say it. God, I say shit. I say that shit to people all the time too. I'm always like, yeah, we'll set you free. Get it? They always think I'm just saying some basic, and I am saying some motivational stuff, but they don't know that there's like subtext there that I'm saying it for a reason in that specific way.
All I'm saying is, you're a bad person, and you should feel bad.
Sometimes I am a bad person. Like recently using these dating apps, like I said, I was like, was it me? Was I the villain the whole time? I was like, damn, because I was like seeing how easy it is to really like sell a girl a dream and get them to like you, and I was like, damn, like
Horrible
shit,
person. Negative Riz.
negative risk. But you got anything you want to talk about, Chief?
I think I lost another piece of this Lego kit. God damn.
You want to talk about the dimension that Lego pieces can go to when they get lost? Oh
Bro, they
man,
go to the dimension that. Nah, they don't go to the dimension. They go to the future. I swear to God, bro.
you
Because
go to the
you'll like rack your brain. You'll like order a new piece, or you'll like come up with a substitution, and then as soon as you're ready and done, you'll be walking and you'll step on it, and you're like, "There's no fucking way that I stepped on it in the middle of this fucking." Yo, bro, like this isn't specifically Lego, but this shit happened. I opened a bag of cereal and it spilled everywhere. I was like, God damn, I'm cleaning it up. I fucking vacuum everything. Everything is clean. And you've seen my desk, like it's not against a wall. Like the desk
yeah.
is floating. So like I like vacuumed under it, right? I come back and sit at the desk. I put my foot in the middle of this fucking desk. I step on a cereal, and I was like, how the fuck did I step on a cereal after I
That's serious.
vacuumed, bro?
It was like I got something for that ass.
And how the
Seriously.
fuck did I do that shit? It fucking went into the future. I swear to God, it went into the future. It's like he
like
never gonna find me 20 seconds from now.
like when Chris's fucking mom did she slap him into the future? Oh yeah, they're like, yo, where's Chris? Oh, I slapped him into next week. Like yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
slapped him in, That concept always made me laugh so much. Just think, imagine getting slapped and then you wake up, you're like, where am I? But imagine that you get really slapped in the future. It's like, oh, it's 2046. Like you got,
Everybody hates Chris. That was a show. That was a show.
oh man. But you ever read a book called The Borrowers?
No,
Oh man. You ever seen a show called The Littles? Actually, no.
I don't. You don't watch live action TV.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't live action. It was a cartoon. It was like one of them old Saturday. You could find it on Saturday mornings.
The
Like you ever?
borrowers.
You remember that thing? It was called Dick or something. No, no.
Fire for
DI,
that. Fire for
DI,
that.
it was called DIC, Dick. And it had that Revolutionary War cartoon on it. There was like a cartoon that was about the Revolutionary War and had these kids involved in it for some reason. Weird cartoon. Had a cool theme song though. I don't remember what that shit was called though.
DIC cartoon.
Yeah. Are you actually pulling it up on stream?
I can't find it. Oh shit! I looked up DIC cartoon and it just showed me the troll girl, like the trolls.
Yeah, they had a whole line of them.
The DIC.
Yeah. So one of the cartoons they had was The Littles, and that cartoon was very interesting because like the whole premise of this nigga had these tiny people living in his house, and like there was like some government agency that was trying to find these niggas.
The Littles. Yes, I do remember.
Yeah. So like there's a book that's similar in concept called The Borrowers, right? And basically the plot was like when you lose the things, like I guess this is what inspired the writer to make these characters. It's like when you lose those things, you can't fucking find them. And the idea was these tiny people, they like live in like the fucking crevices of your house and shit, and they're the ones taking them. They take them to like use as chairs and shit and all sort of stuff. That's what happens is the fucking borrowers are taking your Lego pieces, building a city.
It fucking might be, bro, because I just opened this bag, bro. You saw me on stream open this bag. I put it right here. I only put together one thing. One thing.
Yeah, those tiny. Yo, when I first got
the tiny, bro. It's like this big.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see something.
It's not that tiny. I'm looking for it.
You just reminded me of the earrings, because like those earrings, man. I had to become a bloodhound. Remember when I fucked up when I first got the ears pierced and the thing fell out? So when I was trying to put it back in, every once in a while the thing would drop. And I'd have to transform into Batman and start inspecting every inch of the floor to find that shit, because I knew. I was like, yo, if this thing is like, if I don't start looking for it immediately, I gotta have to trace the path immediately. So like if you lose track of this thing, it will be gone forever. I was like, yeah, I remember that. I think I actually did end up losing it permanently though. I don't know where those earrings are now. But yeah, but is that all you wanted? Is that all you wanted to mention? You don't have anything on your mind?
Right now, no. Because I got a lot out yesterday when I did that solo stream.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I won't lie, like that ending of God of War really like, bro, I was about to go to sleep. Like I literally was about to go to sleep, and then I saw like the ending, and I was like, I saw the secret ending, and I was just like, now it's 6 a.m. and I want to cry. So like I was just like, shit, what do I do?
I think the part that I think gets to me the most is when, you know, he has Atreus there and he's like, there are consequences to saying the N-word. And then Atreus is like, that meme. When I looked it up earlier, I was really just watching it over and over again. I swear I watched it like 10 times. I kept watching it because this shit just kills me every time. I don't know. Oh man, I don't know what's going through people's minds with some of these memes. Like, why they make them?
The original scene was there are consequences to killing a
god. Yeah.
And the kid is like, how'd you know? Because this kid doesn't know about his past. He doesn't know the story of the God of War, the Ghost of Sparta, the God Butcher himself.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he ever had that epithet, but he should have. God Butcher.
Yeah. Oh no, it's because he didn't have that because it already existed. Gore the God Butcher. Now I think Gore came after God of War. They pretty much just stole God of War's story and brought it into comic books. I think Gore the God Butcher came around after.
Yeah, God of War came
Yeah,
out
he did.
2005. Gore, the God Butcher.
2010 or some shit, or something like that.
First appearance 2012.
Oh, 2012. Yeah.
Which I did enjoy that run of Thor. Like that
Yeah.
was a nice run of Thor.
I guess that's something we could talk about.
The
The
run of
feminization
Thor.
of Thor.
Bro, cause alright, so I won't lie. So when Jane Foster became Thor, I did not understand all the backlash. Right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't get it. I was like, yeah, whatever, who cares? Like I saw that like it was like around the time where like everyone was just getting a female. Spider Gwen came out. There was like the Lady Thor, X-23 was real popular at that
Well, see,
time too.
that was the problem. The problem was around that time they just replaced every fucking
Yeah, that's what I'm
body.
saying. Like, yeah. So I
That's what
saw
people got
that
pissed about.
aspect where people was like, yeah, they're kind of mad. But then I read the issue that came before Lady Thor, and then I was like, holy fuck. There's no
It
way
wasn't
you
even
just
called
did this
Lady
shit.
Thor. It was just Thor.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta have a distinction because she is Thor, but he's also Thor.
But that was also the dumbest part of it. That's the part that really offended me the most. I thought was dumb. I was like, what? Why the
That's just
fuck
his
would you
name,
have his
bro.
name?
That's
Yeah.
just his name.
How he's not
That's
like
not
how
a
did he
title,
take
nigga.
his
That's his
name?
name. She
Yeah, I was
took
like, it's
his
not his name. That's
name.
his name.
But so I read the issue. It was the God Butcher issue. That was the issue that came right before the Lady Thor comics really came out, right? And I'm sitting there, and you're seeing young Thor. Well, naive Thor, present Thor, and then old Thor all at once. So you're watching this and like how they come together to like eventually beat the God Butcher, and the storyline is he is constantly wondering if he is worthy, and that is what makes him worthy because he is constantly trying to be better so he can wield Mjolnir. Right? That is literally the end of the comic. Like he comes to realization, it's like, all right, as long as I'm continuously trying to be a better version of myself, I'll be able to wield the hammer. Then like I click next because I was reading online, right? I click next. I go to the next issue. He's sitting there with tears in his hands, like, why can't I lift the hammer? I was like, what do you mean you can't lift the hammer, bro? I just read a whole thing about how you were like, I just read the whole thing. You can lift the hammer, bro. Pick it up.
And
And then, like,
all
the more and more I read, it's just like, it's really just shitting on Thor. Mjolnir never danced like that for me. I was like, no. I just watched the three of you beat the shit out of God Butcher with two different versions of Mjolnir. What do you mean? What do you mean Mjolnir never did that shit for you? What are you talking
yeah,
about? What do
that
you...
was. I was like, literally, there are 1,000 Thor comics where Mjolnir did just that, swerve around like it was like it had a mind of its own, because you willed it to Thor. Let me mute myself. I don't know if you can. Can you hear that?
The squeaking?
Oh no, there was something behind me,
No.
like something playing.
But,
Uh,
so yeah, nah, I was like kind of tight that I was reading that. And then, bro, like I didn't even keep reading the issue, but like eventually the issue ends, and I looked up because apparently Fury whispered something into his ear, and that made him
yeah,
unworthy. And then I
yeah.
looked up what the fuck he said. He was like, Gore was right. I was like, what? That was it? That's all it took? That's all it took for this nigga to be unworthy? That this Gore was right? Which, I don't know if you read the story, but he clearly was not right. He clearly was just not correct.
I never read the God Butcher stuff.
He
That was
wasn't
around.
right, nigga. That was
Yeah,
like, they confirmed it at the end. He was not correct.
yeah, yeah. I know who the God Butcher was, and I'd see like panels and stuff. But
I enjoyed the run. And he had the same kind of idea. He was just like, gods are useless. And then Thor was like, I'm not. That's really it.
and then you have in the movies, they took Thor and turned him into a complete joke.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Gore was right. He was right in that movie. He was right in that movie. Especially since bro, like, out of nowhere, they added that whole scene where all the gods got together of all the different realms and they're going to have an orgy or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this nigga is right now. Which,
Yeah.
that's just, that's not what the gods be doing in the comics. They got shit to do,
Well, some of them are fucking evil,
Yeah,
but yeah.
some of them are evil. Some of them are really out here not doing nothing. But they really made it seem
Oh,
like,
not even not doing nothing, actively trying to make other people's lives worse.
yeah. But I mean, like, they made it this one in the movie. It was just like, all the gods were just like,
Just
Yeah,
goofy
bro.
idiot.
Like, I'm a god. Who cares about anything else? Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, yo, that's
Yeah,
just like,
why would gods? Why do people think that's how they behave? Like, why wouldn't they just be like normal people but with superpowers? You know, like
that's how it is in God of War Ragnarok. They're just
yeah,
like chilling.
yeah, like I would probably maybe I'd be an asshole. Like it's
You
probably
definitely
maybe
would be
okay.
an
I won't
asshole.
say maybe I'd be arrogant. And you know why wouldn't you be arrogant when you could do shit like destroy entire fucking continents and stuff? Like it's just something you can just do. Of course, you're probably gonna be a little, but maybe the flip side is maybe you could become very careful. And you're actually a very careful person because you know what you're capable of. Because I mean, I kind of am like that now. Like I'll be in a situation where I know I can hurt someone, and I'm extra careful not to do it because I know I can do it. Like that's what I've noticed. I will only want to really like hit somebody or get angry at someone when I think they can handle it. It's like what Superman was saying, the dark side, the world of cardboard speech, where he's like, usually I have to hold back, but I know you can take it, so I'm gonna let loose. Um, yeah, but like even with the girl I saw the other night, um, as soon as she mentioned Love and Thunder, her first thing was that movie was ass. Like she was like that movie. She loved all those Marvel movies, but she thought Thor: Love and Thunder was ass.
It was
And
just
we
okay.
were talking about it, and I was saying one of the because she likes Loki a lot, of course, because she's a woman. Um, and I was like, but Loki, in my opinion, is like one of the bigger travesties. Like the same way Thor was turned into a goofball, they did Loki real dirty. Like Loki went from like master trickster and actual supervillain to just a joke, all around joke. Like he gets fucking murdered, neck snapped, and fucking Infinity War in like a second. And then you
Yeah,
get to his
I don't see him dying that easily. Like,
exactly, yeah. He tries to trick him in the stupidest way possible. Like that was not Loki shit, but whatever. And then you get to his show Loki, and oh my god, all he does in that show is get fucking bamboozled, and everyone, oh, you're not as clever as you think you are, and this, and that, and there's another female Loki who's just better than him, and I was like, come on, man, like come on. I was like, this is the god of mischief. I don't know, man. I feel like I could trick this guy. I was like, you know, and even like I'm willing. Like I remember people were really mad when the kid Loki was able to trick adult Loki, right? But like it's like in the comics, and I understand why you'd be mad. Like why would the younger self be able to trick the god of mischief? But I actually related to it and thought that was funny because I'm always saying. I think I've said this to you many times. I feel like child me, I feel like I am more intelligent and worldly than child me, but I think child me was quicker. You know what I mean? Like child me could come up with things like that. Like I feel like if it was between me and child me and we have to like pull a trick on each other or ruse, child me would have that shit ready in a second. Like he could go through 1,000 different attempts. Especially because he was a big fan of David Santos back then. So you try to do that shit in real life. The Santos gambits. He would try to do like those shits in real. Meanwhile, I'd be trying to create the one plan. He'd be creating a plan with like mad fucking redundancies. It probably wouldn't work, but
you know,
yeah,
you just wouldn't be expecting it.
yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like Calvi would be able to pull a fast one on me. You probably would.
Like,
Oh,
oh
you think?
man, I underestimated you. Why? Because you're a fucking child.
Yeah, exactly. Like you probably can see. You probably see like your child self probably could pull a quick one on you. Probably, you know.
Yeah, just
Like, do you
well,
ever get
not
that?
often. Just that one time, it's like, all right, I gotta give him a little more respect than I normally did.
Yeah.
Just,
Like, do you feel like your child self was more, like, a little more quick witted?
uh, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because you can't really remember, right?
Yeah,
But
like
you
I
just,
don't wanna, I don't wanna discount current me, but I also don't wanna like discount past me either.
yeah. I mean, I do feel like past me was because now I analyze things. I mean, I did used to think very deeply back then too, but I was more quick to action back then. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Where it's like before I would just do things, consequences be damned.
Yeah.
Now like
Yeah.
I'll sit there pondering. It's like, oh man, but what if it doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I feel like that's a thing that's happened to a lot of people actually, and like that shit, that shit's the biggest impact on anyone. Like I feel like most people were a lot more quick to action back in their heyday. But you know, it
Yeah.
just gets kind of like beat out of you, where you're just like, bro, there's consequences to your actions.
There are consequences.
And then, bro, cause like, how do you know? How do you know
Yeah,
the
he's like, does your
consequences,
kids
bro?
come?
He's like,
Your kids come say that to you. How do you know?
and bro, like I should honestly like say if there's a kid me and it's like I'll be like, wow, but what if it fails? Like, I feel like kid me looks like so, and I'd be like, you're absolutely right. Who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I would think a lot about how it'd be cool if I could go back in time. So if I had time for travel, I'd write a note and or I would explain to my younger self what to do. But then I'm like, now I think about it now, I'm like, okay, you go back in time. I was like, I probably wouldn't even listen. Like it's like like your past self might start trying to do it differently because he thinks he knows better, and then he fucks everything up.
He's like, bro, I
He's like,
told you,
it's like,
I
how do you know?
told. Yeah, basically, how do I know?
So I literally know I'm from the fucking future. I literally know.
He's like, but you don't remember you going into the past, so how you know you're from the same future? And you're like, ah.
Yeah, he's like, you got me. You got me. You got me. It's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. But this time travel shit was goofy anyway.
He's
It's
like,
like,
I'm
you just
going
go.
back to my present, and I'm not gonna help you out. He's like, wait, nah, I ain't say all that. Come back.
He's like, nah, peace out, bro. He's like, wait.
Now you want to listen. Now you don't get nothing. Oh, I found it. I fucking found
Oh, God.
it. Bro, it was
You're
not
right.
here. I
It
swear to
went to
God.
the future. It went to the
It was
future.
not here, bro.
It
I
went
swear
to,
to everything.
it went to the future. That's what happened. As we're talking about time travel, too, it appears. It went to the future. But
Nah, bro. This shit's goofy.
yeah.
This shit is
I
goofy.
remember I guess we could cap it off with this. There's this comic book called Astro City, and in one of the
Yeah, I
issues it
wrote
was
it.
about huh?
I said, yeah, I wrote it.
Oh Jesus. That reminds me of the classic joke I used to have. And it was based on okay, I'm gonna tell you a funny thing. This joke existed beyond this girl only because I found this shit really funny. Where this girl she was, she was dating this guy and the guy would like he would claim that he wrote songs. Like any band she was a fan of, he worked with them before and he wrote a song for them. So like, and she was like she was dumb enough to believe him back then.
Oh, yeah,
I,
I remember the story.
I thought that she was really goofy. So like, it became a running gag for me whenever some song, whenever she mentioned a song or a book or something, I'd be like, yeah. Or I'd be like some song, we'd be listening to a song, I'm like, yeah, I remember when I wrote this back in 1976. Like, yeah, I remember. Or like she'll mention a song, I was like, yeah, that was one of my first one of my first attempts. And then that shit went on. I just keep making that joke. Random songs. A song, a movie, something like I was like, yeah. Or now it evolved into like fucking whenever the girls at my job will be talking shit about somebody, like, nah, you can't be talking about them like that. That's my cousin. It's like that's my cousin. Or like that's my uncle. They didn't get it at first. They would think I was dead serious because I would say it like I'm like, nah, you can't be talking about her like that. That's my aunt. And like, that's your aunt? And I'm like, no. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, no, you've never even seen me talk to that person. You think I'm just gonna walk past my aunt every day and not even look at them? Like come on.
Shit, they probably do that shit. They probably do shit just like that.
Yeah, they probably do. Well, fun fact. Once my uncle went to a store that one of my cousins worked in, and he was applying for a job there, and my cousin was there, but he was like pretending not to know him. And then my uncle was like, "Okay, fuck you too, then," and pretended not to know him either. So they're in the same fucking room, pretending not to know each other. I just thought that shit was so goofy. It was
I
kind
can
of
see you
funny.
doing that if you're like, all right, I'm gonna pretend not to know you so that you can get the job. You
Yeah.
know, like something like that. But that's goofy as fuck.
Yeah, because like the thing is, when my mom was telling me the story, I was like, nothing would have even happened if they knew each other. I was like, I was like, nothing would have happened. Like people who work at these places hire their family members all the fucking time. Yeah,
See, that's the thing about the colored community. We not on that wave.
yeah.
We
Hold
hiring
on,
everyone else.
give me a second.
We hiring everyone else. You know that. You know that's true.
Yeah, it is true. But as I was saying before I got interrupted by that funny ass story about my cousin and uncle being petty as fuck. Because no one is more petty than that uncle in particular. He's one of the most petty people. And he,
Can
like,
you
you remember,
blame him though? Like you
huh?
show up, you're like, "Hey, yo, cousin."
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah, I would be mad. Yeah, I probably would do the same shit, ignore him. But I'm just saying, out of that story, in out of context, even with that, he is just a very petty individual. Like, he is very petty. Like he is when they say, cut off your hand to, what is it? Well, how does the saying go?
I
Damn.
don't know what
Well,
you're talking about.
pretty much the saying is like you'll spite yourself just to spite someone else. Like you'll fuck your own shit up just to spite someone.
Cut
He's
off the
that
hand
petty.
to save the finger or something. That
There
sounds
we go. Something like that. Something like that. Um,
sounds about Goofy.
very
You know,
definition
Goofy
of
and
that.
that.
That's why, like, when you talk about it, like how when someone pisses you off, you don't talk to them. I was like, he's just like that, but he's worse. Fucking worse. He will hate somebody. Yo, the shit this nigga,
What's too
he
loud?
will remember shit from fucking 30 years ago and be talking about it like it happened yesterday. And I always found that shit so weird, even as a kid. And when you start going ranting about some shit someone did to him like 30 years ago, I'd be like, why do you still remember that? Like as a kid, I knew that wasn't something normal, you know. But anyways, in the Astro City, this older character, like there's like this giant robot comes into town, and he has no choice but to like put on his old costume and try and save everyone. But because he's old, he's not as fast as he used to be. And
He
like
had
the
a
whole premise of the
choice.
story is, huh?
He had a choice.
Yeah. Well,
He had a choice. There's always
yeah,
a
I get it.
choice.
Oh, but the other heroes were like all gone for some reason.
Nah.
Um, so like he fights, but like he was remembering how when he was young, how he would come up with all these ingenious solutions to everything. And basically the way they framed it is because he was fighting crime back in the 1960s. You would see all these goofy 1960s solutions that the superheroes would have. Like he was fighting this guy who had like a prismatic thing, and the guy was like beating him. So he flew into the fucking prism, and like six of him came out in different colors. Like he was just or like there was one thing
That is goofy
he
as fuck.
yeah yeah. In order to defeat ability, he went back in time. Like shit like that. That was the one that killed me because it is some shit you would see in an old comic. He went back in time and like did some shit to fuck up the villain's plot before the villain even had the plot, right? And he was like, he just like the whole premise of the story was how everything was so much simpler back then, like how quick he could come up with a way to fix the problem. And then here he is, he was getting his ass walloped by that giant robot. And then like even in the end, he saves everyone, but he destroyed like the entire fucking county doing it. And he looks at the guy who tried to bring him back into service, and he's like, "You see, this is why I didn't want to do this shit. Like, you see all the damage I caused? I didn't save anything. I didn't do shit. Like, if I just left the thing alone, the other heroes might have come eventually. And like, you made me fight it, and all I did is destroy fucking the entire city." Um, but anyways, I guess we can call it quits.
We can call it quits. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I can work with you anymore. I think I'm done with you, bro.
Yeah.
After
I think it's best we sever ties too.
Yeah, I think it's best we sever ties. After that shit you did to me last time, when you showed up with your hairline looking like that.
I was waiting for it. I was like, we haven't made one today.
We always gotta make sure that everyone loves that we make those jokes. When I tell other people about our hairline jokes, because I like talking about how we will go on a long tangent.
You want to
And
know
I
what's
say,
wild? Even when I was by myself, I was really sitting there. I said at the end of the stream, I was like, and if it's a futurist watching this, just make sure to get a haircut.
yo, those are the best ones. Like leading someone along astray. I don't do that work with hairline stuff, but I do it with other things. So like I'll be talking about something, and like as we're building up, you think what I'm saying is real, and I'll be talking for like 2 minutes just to end with some punchline, and then they're just like,
Nah, I know you long enough. I'm like, this man, he's talking about his ass.
yeah.
Like you go on these long stories. I was like, wait, this is. Oh no, I've been caught in this trap.
Is it no? It's like Naughty.
It's like, oh no, it's coming, and I can't stop.
The story's like, and your
Pause.
next line is, or the fucking what was it? Steve Jobs died of ligma. Who the fuck is Steve Jobs? Ligma balls.
That shit
Or
was
even
that shit was funny. That shit
have
was
you
funny.
seen the one with the one you sent to me? I think you sent the shit to me with Shadow when he tried using
CD's nuts.
yeah, the robot one was top
Bro,
tier.
because I was like, oh man, like this is because yeah, it was that long-winded shit. I was like, where's the joke in this? And he was like,
Yeah.
please install correct CD. What CD? CD's nuts.
I was like,
Yo,
damn, they
he
got
got
me.
me.
They got me. But anyways,
Oh man, but
Vanguard
I'll catch you guys
out.
later.
I'm wondering if I should go to the gym today.